Proxima Centauri to Alpha Centauri A. Original Centaurus, 1.8 petameters. Proxima Centauri is very far away from Original Centaurus and Ptolemy. Blinking Planetary Nebula, 4.5 petameters. Petameters, I say, petameters. The blinking planetary nebula is planetary that doesn't actually blink, it just seems to disappear from view. There are two red flyers, fast, low ionization emission regions on opposite sides of the nebula. Hourglass Nebula, 5.5 petameters. The Hourglass Nebula is actually shaped like an hourglass. As you can see, there are two lobes. The upper lobe is tilted towards us. The bottom one is tilted away, so it's actually 3D, sort of. Homunculus Nebula, 5.5 petameters. At the center of the Homunculus Nebula lies a star which is Eta Carinae, had a magnitude of -0.8 in 1841. Now it is a very dim 6th magnitude star. So, we could cook, dude. Light year, 10 petameters. In 1 year, light travels about 9.46 trillion kilometers. This distance is known as a light year. The light year is commonly used for measuring astronomical distance. Now we're getting to the Valley of Light Years. Are you ready? Freaking ready. Eskimo Nebula, 15 15 petameters. The Eskimo Nebula was discovered in 1787 and is the result of a sun-like star dying and expanding into space. It supposedly looks like the head in the hood of a parka. Another name is the Clownhead Nebula, but both are inappropriate. This object should better be referred to as so. Do not use the name, okay? Ant Nebula, 20 petameters. The Ant Nebula, which is also called Mental 3, is expanding 180,000 kilometers per hour. It resembles an ant so much so that it's named after an ant. For more about ants, zoom in 18 orders of magnitude, which I won't. Do not try. Boomerang Nebula, 19 petameters. The Boomerang Nebula is very cold, only 1 degree above its absolute zero. That is colder than background radiation. Did you know the Boomerang Nebula is the coldest known object in the universe? Oort Cloud, 18 petameters. The Oort Cloud is the outermost region of the solar system. Water, ammonia, methane, ice, and comets loosely fill the region. The boundary of the Oort cloud is also the boundary of the sun's gravitational pull, is the limit of the sun's control. Ring Nebula, 24 petameters. The Ring Nebula looks a lot like a ring. The old belief was that all planetary nebulae were ring-shaped like this one, but that turns out not to be true. There are other planetary nebulae shaped. There are other shaped planetary nebulae can be, such as in the shape of a cat's eye, 61 petameters. The Cat's Eye Nebula is one of the most complex nebulae. Did you know that the Cat's Eye Nebula is 8,000 degrees Celsius? That's pretty hot. The outer halo is even hotter at 15,000 degrees Celsius. So it turns out the outermost layer is the most dangerous. Okay. But now we have only discovered these. Parsec, 31 petameters. Earth's movement around the sun causes nearby stars to appear to move, called parallax. If a nearby star is perpendicular to the solar system and is exactly 1 parsec away, its parallax will be exactly 1 arcsecond. Parallax plus arcsec equals parsec. It's called parsecond. Scam. Distance from Earth to Proxima Centauri, 40 petameters. Proxima Centauri is the closest star to the Sun. However, it's still quite far away. 30 million suns could still fit between Proxima Centauri and the Sun. Straight line. The Pillars of Creation, 38 petameters. The Pillars of Creation lie within the Eagle Nebula. The Eagle Nebula is 7,000 light years away from us. Evidence shows that the Pillars of Creation were destroyed by a supernova about 6,000 years ago. So we have only another millennium. Will be destroyed by a supernova 6,000 years later. So we only have another millennium to see it. Oh no, this is a bad one. Pillars of Creation, bye bye. Be gone. Be lost. The Helix Nebula, 54 petameters. The Helix Nebula is one of the closest bright planetary nebulae to Earth. It is 650 light years away from Earth. That's only 6 quadrillion kilometers. That is close, astronomically speaking. Bubble Nebula, 70 petameters. I love blowing bubbles. Blop, bop, poop. This nebula is not a bubble, it just looks like one. It was created by hot stellar wind. Oh, it's an emission nebula, not a planetary nebula. Cone Nebula, 80 petameters. The Cone Nebula was discovered in 1785 on the day after Christmas. Did you know that the Cone Nebula is a dark nebula and a diffuse nebula? You can find it between Betelgeuse and Procyon in the constellation of Monoceros. Horsehead Nebula, 66 petameters. The Horsehead Nebula is one of the most famous nebulae because it looks like a horse's head. It's a dark nebula front of a glowing pink gas. It was first discovered in 1888. Do you like all those eights? I do. No, you don't. Rotten Egg Nebula, 130 petameters. The Rotten Egg Nebula has sulfur in it. That's why it's probably called this nebula. It's called the Rotten Egg Nebula. I think it looks a bit like a raw egg, where the blue is a cracked eggshell and the yellow is the yolk spilling out. By the way, it's actually false color. Black Pillar, 90 petameters. This little thingy is part of a much larger Eagle Nebula. Even though it appears small in comparison to the Eagle Nebula, it's still larger than the solar system by 10 to 10,000 to 20,000 times, depending on your definition of our solar system. In my definition, the end is at the Oort cloud, not the Hill sphere. Crab Nebula, 110 petameters. Crab Nebula is one of the most famous nebulae. It was also the first Messier object catalog. Messier 1. The Crab Nebula supernova was seen in 1054 AD and was so bright it could be seen during the day. It isn't even 1,000 years old. It's the youngest supernova remnant ever. Okay, we've discovered all of these. Time for the big one. Orion Nebula, 230 petameters. The Orion Nebula is one of the most visible nebulae ever. As the name suggests, it lies in the constellation Orion. Did you know that bullets of gas exist within this nebula? I don't. Lagoon Nebula, 330 petameters. The Lagoon Nebula is a nebula that was named the Lagoon Nebula in 1747. The year it was discovered is 4,000 light years away from us and includes tornadoes that emit UV light. So yeah, nebulae, which may be a birthplace or actually really dangerous place. If I'm being totally honest. North America Nebula, 950 petameters. This apparent size of the North American nebula is very large. It appears almost 4 times large as a full moon. It's just very dim. So, you need longer exposure times to see it. Cave Nebula, 700 petameters. The Cave Nebula is a very diffuse nebula, of course. Most nebulae as large as this one are faint, so you need long exposure times to see them. The Nebula is also called Sharpless 155 or Caldwell 9. Rosette Nebula, 1.2 exameters. An exameter is 1,000 petameters. The Rosette Nebula is large, is very large, but very faint. It looks like a fiery rose in a rosy fire. It's approximately 5,000 light years away from us and has a mass of 10,000 suns or 3 billion Earths. Eagle Nebula, 1.2 exameters. The Eagle Nebula is a huge stellar nursery. Can you see the pillars of creation within it? Also, note that this image is based off a false colored photograph. True color is a bit more pinkish, as most large nebulae are. Omega Centauri, 1.6 exameters. Omega Centauri is the globular cluster. It's the brightest globular cluster. The center is very crowded. Stars there are 0.1 light years apart, which is 2% distance from our sun to the nearest star. That is really close. Messier 54, 2.9 exameters. Messier 54 or M54 or NGC 6715 is another globular cluster. It's in the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, which would mean it's the first globular cluster outside of the Milky Way to be discovered.